Minnesota Twins, they fall apart late. They lose game 2 in Detroit 7-2. We're breaking it all down. It's coming up next on the Locked On Twins POSTCAST.
You are Locked On Twins POSTCAST, part of Locked On Minnesota on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
What's up? What's up? Back in the lab, back at it. Another Minnesota Twins POSTCAST episode right here on the Locked On Sports Minnesota Network. Your team every day. You got myself, Luke Inman, at Luke_Spinman. That's the man, Sweet Lou Hennessy. He's a Twins expert over at Zone Coverage, MN, and he's on X at Sweet Lou MN. And Lou, before we jump into all the action from today's game, quick reminder, tonight's episode brought to us by Prize Picks. Prize Picks, the easiest and most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. Go to prizepicks.com/LockedOnMLB. Use code, this is all lowercase, LockedOnMLB for a first deposit match up to $100. Okay, game 2 versus Detroit. Joe Ryan on the mound versus Cy Young front runner Skubal. So you knew this would be a pretty good pitcher's duel, at least in the first half, and it was. Royce Lewis, though, kicks things off in the first inning with a 2-run bomb. Fast forward, 6th inning, it's 2-1. Joe Ryan gives this goofy triple up that took like this really weird bounce off the right field wall. Pretty unlucky, actually, if you watched it. Detroit takes the lead with a sac fly 2 batters later. Only down 1 run, though. 3-2, 7th inning. Who else? Baez, maybe the hottest hitter in the league all of a sudden. 3rd home run in as many games, a 3-run shot off Brock Stewart. That busts things wide open. Keith homers in the same inning off Okert because, sure, why not? 7-2 Detroit. That was your final. That was all she wrote. Twins lose game 2. They drop back to 57-46 on the year. So 11 games above 500. Still 4.5 back from Cleveland. They got thumped by Philly today. Sweet Lou, kick us off. Biggest takeaways, 8 topics. Then we'll talk about Joe Ryan's day next.
Yeah, one that lost the plot in the 6th, 7th inning there. Yeah. I was encouraged by Joe Ryan's start overall. Like you said, that triple that he gave up, super wonky. If that, is 2 inches to the left and gets to the right fielder that was fielding it there, instead of bouncing back towards the infield, he probably doesn't give up that 1 run. He probably leaves him stranded there. But overall encouraging. You'll still take a quality start from him. 3 earned runs over 6 innings. We'll take that for sure. And Skubal's, we knew going into it, tough assignment, and he was pretty much as advertised. 8 Ks over 7 innings. That's pretty bones. And in the back of my head, I kept wondering if this is going to be his last start as a Tiger. Ooh. I think it's unlikely, but if he were to be made available, he would bring back a king's ransom for sure.
Yeah, and I saw some Tiger fans on Twitter saying you don't trade a guy like this. You build around him. The swing and miss rate when it comes to trying to find pitching prospects in the draft or just in the minors is so tough, man. It's like 69% of those guys end up being busts. So, we'll see how it's all said and done. Yeah. We'll talk about the trade deadline in segment 2 as well. But, yeah, you're right. Skubal, Joe Ryan, you knew was going to be tough. Having said that, though, Royce Lewis homers in his 2nd game back. We're used to him homering in his 1st game back from off injury. But can we officially say he's back now, or do you need to see, I don't know, him string together some more good at-bats a little bit more consistently? I guess how'd he look in game 2 now?
You can't complain with how he was looking. He had 2 hits, I believe. He for sure had that home run, and then
2 for 4. Yep.
2 for 4. Yeah. So, I like to think that he's back. I'm sure he likes to think that he's back. But the last time that he said something like that, when he said he doesn't do that slump thing, he did that slump thing. So I think maybe he's going to keep it on the DL for a little bit.
And how about Miranda in his 1st game back? I mean, how long is it going to take, I guess? And he was 1 for 4, by the way. But how long is it going to take, I guess, to really feel like this whole lineup is in sync and kind of in mid-season form again, top to bottom, now that they got some of these big names back again?
Yeah, encouraging stuff from him as well. It's tough to sit here and say, oh, yeah, the offense is clicking when they scored 2 runs in this game, but probably had more to do with the competition more so than any lack of talent or anything in their lineup, which is suddenly becoming super dynamic with some of these guys that can, hit at the top of the lineup against lefties and move all around the field. So, I think that we could see them kind of ignite any minute now, really. We've kind of been seeing the signs of that in the last couple of weeks, and sometimes that leads to some frustrations of guys left on base, but sometimes it leads to some huge offensive outbursts too.
Well said there. Good breakdown. Let's deep dive a little bit more on Joe Ryan's day. Again, 6 innings, 4 hits, 3 earned, 8 Ks, 1 walk, 89 pitches. What'd you like from his stuff today? And maybe if there's anything, what didn't you like, I guess, today?
No, it just looked like he was pretty effective with all of his pitches. I thought that his command was pretty good. What he finished the day with, 1 walk, what that. And, a big thing for him, as with a lot of different Twins pitchers, is when his stuff isn't right, he doesn't miss, out of the zone. He misses right down the wheelhouse. So it's good that he kept it in the park a little better, but still something to watch for him.
Dude, he's up 2-1 versus Skubal, right? And that triple in the 6th, man, stupidest bounce in the world off the right field wall, turns a double. Okay, great hit down the line.
Yeah.
It turns a double into a triple. That scores a run that probably wouldn't have scored. And then they only needed a sac fly because I think there were 0 outs, maybe 1 out at the most. But then they only needed that sac fly because now he's at third to get the lead. I know it didn't matter in the end when you look at the box score, but that just really felt super unlucky and almost kind of wasted 5 great innings before that point for Joe Ryan. It just kind of puts a bad taste in your mouth, unfortunately.
Sure. Yeah, no. And, it was great to see Brock Stewart out there. We didn't get the best version of him. There's like 2 places you can't throw the ball to Javi Baez, and somehow the Twins have hit both of them this weekend. So unfortunate, but we still saw a little bit of that electricity that made him so effective, with his 1 strikeout that he did have.
Yep. Well said. All right, Rocco report time. Favorite or least favorite move or decision, whatever it may be from today's game. So game 2 versus Detroit, the Rocco report, it says what?
I thought it was really smart of Rocco to take Stewart out with just 2/3 of an inning pitch. Looking at his pitch count a little bit for somebody who's struggled with injuries for his entire career, but he's going to be an integral part of this bullpen picture going down the stretch. So I'm okay with them kind of using oven mitts with Brock Stewart for right now, and just keeping the context of, hey, it's not as important to me that you get a clean inning. It's not, 1995 anymore. I'd rather us kind of get out of this jam and keep you for the long haul.
I like it. Well said. All right, plenty more deep dive from this one, plus nerdy stat of the day. That's all coming up right after this. Quick reminder, tonight's episode brought to us by eBay Motors. Passion, drive, patience, the formula for winning championships is also what keeps your ride or die alive. In eBay Motors, they got everything you need to maintain your vehicle and level it up to the ultimate peak performance. Superchargers, roof racks, exhaust kits, LED headlights, they got it all. And whether you're into speed, power, or style, they got you covered with over 122 million parts for your number one ride or die. You'll always find exactly what you're looking for. And with eBay's Guaranteed Fit, your part guaranteed to fit your ride every time or your money back. With all the parts you need at the prices you want, it's easy to turn your car into the MVP and bring home that win. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply. eBay's Guaranteed Fit, only available to U.S. customers. Okay, trade deadline steam. It's red hot right now. We're 3 days away as we record this on a Saturday night. Deadline is Tuesday afternoon. First off, how about just a quick little recap on some of the biggest deals that have already gone down? Let's just start there because I know there's been some wheeling and dealing already around the league. Who's stuck out the most? Who's made the biggest splashes thus far?
An early splash was Randy Arozarena going to the Seattle Mariners. That's going to be an interesting play. Today, it was announced that Jazz Chisholm from the Miami Marlins got moved to the New York Yankees, which is an interesting fit. I think there's going to be a lot of steam on some of these relief arms going, and we saw Carlos Estevez of the Los Angeles Angels, who would have been a prime trade target for the Twins, kind of a back end of the bullpen piece that they can add to the triple-headed monster with Johan Duran and Griffin Jacks. So I think we're going to see a few more of those arms go. We'll see if one comes to Minnesota. Yeah,
and usually the biggest deals end up, happening around that 25th hour, so to speak, as well, right at the deadline, right at the buzzer. So we'll see still plenty of time for a lot of these big deals to go down. I know we just talked about this last night, and not a lot's changed, obviously, but I got to ask you again, Twins trade deadline. Let's just start here. if they're making a move, they're buying, right? Like there's little chance they'd actually be sellers, only 4.5 games back from Cleveland and just getting everybody healthy again in this lineup. Is that fair to say?
I think that's probably fair to say that they won't be a
Yeah.
traditional seller. I could see them moving some pieces from their big league
Sure.
roster, but not necessarily in the effort to sell them off, but maybe to whether that's clear a roster spot for an additional transaction that happens,
Right,
or
right.
making room on the roster for incoming players as well. I'm not sure if I'd see any blockbusters happening, but they certainly have the assets to make a splash if they so choose, or to make any sort of kind of combination of deals to try to improve along the margins, I'd say.
Well, let's say they do have to move somebody, whether it just be for financial reasons, bringing a different big name in or something like that. Is there a random wild card you can think of that if you had to bet, you could maybe see getting traded? Like I have no idea. Edward Julian, I'm just flinging out names here, or a guy I guess they have a bulk of at a certain position and have the depth and talent to be able to shed some bodies but still stay competitive. Is there a name or two you can fling out?
An interesting wrinkle is kind of, looking at the financials as they come in. Not that I don't think it'll play a huge factor, because if
Yeah.
they're looking at rentals, the rentals are probably not going to be making that much money anyway. But even if they do try to make an effort to even that out salary wise, if Chris Paddock was healthy, I could have seen him being, a flipper. So somebody that you say, hey, you're going to have control of this guy next year too. We think he's running out of gas this year, but he could be something next year. You give us your rental starting pitcher, or reliever, whatever that is, as part of the swap. But now that he's hurt, it's kind of out of the question. So,
Right.
I'm curious about where Kyle Farmer is. If he is healthy and returns by Monday, which looks unlikely,
Okay.
he could be somebody whose salary is flipped as well. And just gets
Okay.
a fresh opportunity somewhere. Because, as it looks right now, the Twins have a logjam of infielders, and it's going to be probably
Right.
pretty hard for Kyle Farmer to find regular playing time with the Twins. So
R-
might be best for everybody, but at the same time, I know he's really well respected in that clubhouse, and that's valuable.
Yeah, for sure. No, that's a good point there too. What's your gut say? Thad Levine, Derek Falvey, they making a splash or what? If so, if they make even if it's a mini splash, who's your guy? Who's the name you want them to go out and target? Is there a guy kind of on your wish list that you think makes sense for the Twins, but it's also realistic, like in the realm of possibilities, knowing their finances and knowing the prospects and just the names that they would have to give up in return?
Yeah, I'd be interested in somebody like Nathan Eovaldi of the Texas Rangers,
Yeah.
who knows if they'll be selling. They're obviously reigning champs, who are still, I think, under 500, but anything can happen. Their whole MO is just to wait until Max Scherzer and Jacob deGrom and some of these really big name arms got healthy. And now that we're starting to see them trickle in, they might try to push their chips into the middle. But if not, Nathan Eovaldi could be somebody who is both affordable. He's not going to require one of your top 5 prospects or anything like that. He
Love
does
that,
have,
by the way. I
yeah,
love that. Yeah.
he has a vesting option where it's like if he pitches 50 more innings this year, he can pick up a $20 million option, which the Twins probably don't have any interest in right now. But if he pitches well and meets that threshold, he might say, hey, I don't want to be locked in for 1 year 20. I'm going to go for a multi-year deal. I'm just going to nix it right off the bat. So it kind of depends on how he would perform, whether that came into play or not. But I think he'd be a playoff caliber starter, and he's got a track record of really owning in the playoffs. So
I like that. What was Sonny Gray's contract? What did that look like? What did the Twins look at and say, we can't touch that. We got to let you go. As much as we'd love to bring you back, we can't.
Yeah.
We can't do it.
Yeah, so he signed for 3 years, $75 million with the Cardinals, and
25
3
a
years. I'm sure they'd be interested in a 3-year deal with him at maybe a little bit. I think a lot of the financial uncertainty played into it as well, obviously with the TV deal and everything.
Yeah.
But I also don't think that they would want to be locked into a long-term contract with somebody in their late 30s. Just with pitching, it's a huge risk.
Nope, that makes sense. We always talk about the Twins, but, let's be real. So much of this second half is also going to come down to what Cleveland does, too. So how have they even looked as of late? I know they got a tough matchup with Philly, just got pounded tonight by them, but could they be big players at the deadline as well? Like I don't know. For me, I just think about it logically. I'm like, why wouldn't they be, right? Go secure this division lead, playing with house money anyways this year, add a little help. Maybe that's pitching staff, bullpen, whatever it may be.
Yeah, no, I think it's going to be really interesting to see how it plays out. They've sputtered as of late, and they're kind of they're slowing down, and at a very inopportune time for them. So we'll see what sort of improvements they try to make at the deadline. I don't see them selling anything off. They don't have, a lot of their mission every year is to kind of shed salary at the trade deadline here, even while remaining competitive. It's something crazy that they've been able to do for years now. This year, I don't see them really shedding off any pieces, but we'll see if anything comes in.
4-6 in their last 10. And again, 2 more with Philly on deck as well. So maybe now's the time to steal a game or 2. We'll see. All right, nerdy stat of the daytime. Give it to us. Some sort of crazy stat or fun analytic, Twins related. What do you got tonight? Lay it on us.
So Royce Lewis, after hitting his home run today, he is now averaging 1 home run every 12 at bats, which is third in all of baseball over the last 2 years. The other 2 names on that list are Aaron Judge and Shohei Ohtani, which are I would probably call them the 2 best hitters in the game right now. So it's great company that he's in. Now it's just a matter of getting him to stay healthy on the field and stay effective.
Man, that's phenomenal, man. It's like we know it, right?
Yeah.
But sometimes you throw out a stat like that, man, a fun fact, and it's like, holy smokes, this dude really is on another level. Just got to stay healthy. Come on now.
Star power.
Star power, baby. Blue chip. All right, don't go anywhere. We got to preview game 3 tomorrow. Bailey Ober on the mound for that one. That's all coming up right after this. Quick reminder, tonight's episode also brought to us by Prize Picks. Prize Picks, America's #1 fantasy sports app with more than 3 million members to date. For me and my money, I swear by it. It's by far the easiest and most exciting way to get in on all the action while you watch your favorite sports and you watch your favorite players. So simple. All you got to do, you pick more or you pick less on 2 or more player stats, and you watch the winnings roll in. Baseball season, obviously in full swing. So whether it's strikeouts, RBIs, home runs, you name it, they got it. Take your pick on more or less and add them to your Prize Picks entry today. Plus, they now offer Apple Pay for quick and easy deposits into your account all season long. Download the Prize Picks app today. Use code, this is all lowercase, Locked On MLB for a first deposit match up to $100. Game 3 tomorrow, Bailey Ober on the mound. I don't know who the starting pitcher is penciled in for the Tigers. Didn't see it up there on ESPN.com. But what's your preview? What's your scouting report for that one? And then how about just a quick little snapshot on the New York Mets? They're right around the corner. Explain the Mets to us like we don't know anything. What kind of team have they been in 2024?
Yeah, so starting off with the game tomorrow, I think it's going to be exciting because I think the Twins and Tigers are at 6 wins apiece against or head to head, I should say. So this one's going for all the marbles on Sunday. I think it'll be pretty fun matchup, like you said. Bailey Ober obviously was excellent last time he was out. Looking forward to seeing him go out there again. I was talking about this with somebody before. He just has crystal clear body language when things are going right for him. It could have something to do with the fact that there's a lot of body to see that body language there. So that has something to do with it. But I just love the sight of him when he's locked in and just the pacing that he has and just the way he steps off the mound when he gets out of a jam.
Yeah, no, absolutely love that. We touched on Zebby Matthews yesterday. I just feel like we should follow that up just because he got his first start with the Saints, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong. And it sounded like he looked rock solid today. Did you catch any of that? Because it did sound pretty promising from the reports.
I did not get to see any of it today, but he also debuted on, I want to say it was MLB Pipeline's top 100 prospect list. So he made his debut there at number 100.
Nice.
I think I see a bright future ahead of here for Mr. Matthews. I'm not sure if he's going to make some meteoric rise to the big leagues this year. I think some things would probably have to go wrong at the big league level for him to make an appearance. But at the same time, you're going to ride it as long as you can here. He's had a just super encouraging year at AA and AAA so far. And it's fun to see the pitching pipeline show up.
Well, like we said last night, The Athletic just came out. They just dropped their top 60 prospects. He was number 60. He just squeaked in, but number 60, man. So whether it's top 100, top 60, you name it, again, the dude is just a lot of momentum. I'll just say that. A lot of momentum on his side right now. Can't wait to see how that unfolds. Let's get out of here. Always fun talking Twins with you. Twins, they do fall apart late. They lose game 2 in Detroit 7-2. Still 4.5 back from Cleveland. They lost to Philly as well. Game 3 tomorrow. First pitch for that. 12:40 p.m. Again, Bailey Ober on the mound for that one. Huge shout out to all the everydayers out there that always make us your first listen. Rest assured, we'll be back each and every game right here to break it all down. Quick reminder as well, got to go check out all of Lou's work on X at Sweet Lou MN, plus all the work he's always ripping it up over at zonecoveragemn.com. Plus, go like this video, subscribe to the channel, help us get to 8,000 subscribers. That's always much, much appreciated. All right, that'll do it for us. Sweet Lou, Luke Inman on X, at Luke_Spinman. We'll see you next time. But until then, signing out.